Did we? I think Organovsky did once, right? Anybody know where we're up to?
I haven't been around for a while. I don't know.
Me too. If you don't mind, we'll go back to Perik Shlishi. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah.
Perik Shlishi. I didn't look at this. Okay, I got this week's Rav Avigdor Miller on Parshas. Was it Tzav this week? Was about this. Was about Hachna. I didn't get to see the whole thing, but maybe I'll post it because since we don't have him on, and he does refer to Shara Kniya. So if anyone wants to read it, Lynette, I'll post it. Oh, that's the top we're doing about it. The things that cause a person to be machniya himself. After that, I guess he felt he has gaiva, and there are 10 things that causes a person to humble himself. Hey Masara, Gorim Echad who Shakoicha Nechash B'Koshe Pulase. Oya de Machos, Oya de Shemezet Gufa who Ra Mitchilas B'Yosef. That physically he's weakened from what he used to be able to do. He finds himself weaker. Either because he got sick or his constitution was always a weak constitution. I don't know what the difference between that and that is. From birth. What's that?
I'm sorry to interrupt. You're doing Perik Shlishi, right?
Perik Gimel of Shara Kniya. Yeah. In the Leif Tov.
Yeah.
Am I reading something wrong?
I don't know where you are. Maybe I don't know where
Perik
you are.
Gimel. Perik Gimel starts with Hagormim Shebeglolam. Is that right?
No. All right.
Simcha, you have it?
I have it. But which book do you have? Chovos haLevavos, Lev Tov,
So
Shara Kniya, which is the 6th shar.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, and he's reading.
Oh, and Nikud Hamaisa. That's why.
Okay.
That's why. It's multiple books in. Okay, I see. All right.
okay. Basically, we went back to Perik Gimel.
I didn't really understand the purpose of that, Eric. That's the truth.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand it either. We're going to find out. I got my son says I should give you regards from 2 of your grandsons who hung around him.
Okay.
Got
You don't know
drunk.
which two.
Avi's
You don't know
two
which
sons.
two, right?
Avi's oldest son and
Avi's man.
let's talk. Which two Granovskis?
Mayor and serious Mayor.
Aaron and who? Mayor. Okay.
Mayor's son.
No. Avi has a son, Mayor?
Mayor, yeah.
Yeah, those two.
Who's the other one?
Avram. Aaron. Yeah, was his oldest son, no?
Youngest son.
Aaron's the youngest? Youngest.
Yeah, Aaron's youngest. So no, Uriel is youngest.
Yeah. Okay. In any case. So let's go. There are 10 things that causes a person to be humbled. Number 1, used to be you felt strong, and now you feel weak. So that in itself humbles you. You're not physically capable.
It's reasons why stupid reasons are not the good reasons to be humble. That was the spirit.
I don't know if it's a metzius. You know, when a guy feels strong, and suddenly, let's say a guy's
as opposed to the next spirit where the reasons to really feel humble. What is the purpose?
I didn't see the next spirit.
What is the purpose of this spirit? That's really what I want to know.
No, look, the next parak sounds like he's saying, where should you be applying Hachna? Where's the right place for it? I guess there's some places it's not right to be machniya yourself. But here it's saying things that bring you, things that humble you. Here you were a tough guy, and now you're a paraplegic. That's humbling. You can't do anything anymore. You used to think you're so tough, and you could do what you want, and you're in control, and now you're not in control. That humbles you. There are 10 things that humble you, whether you like it or not, type of thing. I guess someone wants to want to be a misguy, even if he's a paraplegic, so he could. But the teva is that's a humbling thing. So that's number one. He's saying you're not able to do what you used to be able to do. Whether you're sick, or from the beginning, you weren't a strong person, and I guess now you're feeling it. So I'm not sure what 2 or 3. It sounds like the same examples. So he humbles. He has to humble himself. He needs help. He can't do things on his own anymore. That's a very humbling situation. Or you have to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's also anytime you have to ask for help. That's a humbling matzav. Omel liba. Rambanim the Malakit. Hashem chichdias liba ma'idei hatzori shehevi alehem. So Rabbi Yosef, it says here on the bottom, he quotes from the Marpei L'Nefesh. The benefit, what's the difference? What do I have to know? What makes me humble? If I'm humbled, I'm humbled. So he says, the benefit of knowing these 10 things, so again, we didn't do the whole thing yet. It sounds like the first 7 are things that are not in his hands. He gets sick. These are things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu humbles you, the first 7. But you really could choose to be machni yourself with number 8, 9, and 10. So the Marpei L'Nefesh is saying, if I do it on my own volition and I make my own choices, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have to humble me the first 7. And that's why it's important to know the different things that humble us and realize what's biyadenu to do and what's not biyadenu to do and make the right choices. So that's number 1. Hagar Masheni, who should go an outside misfortune. Either you can become poor or you have a fire, burns down your house, place. And again, something outside of your control causes you to need to turn to other people. Then until now, he had a good parnasa, he was able to take care of himself. So now he has to humble himself. Very humbly. I'm sure Aganovsky knows this feeling because I know it. Like even when you're going to collect for yeshiva, it shouldn't be a humbling thing. You should be proud, in your mind to say, "Hey, I'm doing this guy a favor." I think I said over to you that the first time I went collecting for the yeshiva, I had a long list of all the people that I remembered from America. I was down to the last guy, and I didn't even know if I should go visit him because I didn't know if he would remember me. And the truth is, when I saw him, if he wouldn't have said hello to me, I would have walked by him. I didn't remember what he looked like. In any case, I was sitting and schmoozing with him, and I said to him, it's difficult to knock on people's doors and ask them for money. And he said to me, "You make a mistake." He says, "When my refrigerator breaks, the guy is a serviceman. He does the service. He comes to fix my. I really should bring the refrigerator to him. He does the service, and he comes. I should bring the money to you. You're doing me a favor by knocking on my door and getting the money." Okay, but still, that's nice, but it's a very humbling feeling. That even when you're not going
that
to
guy
yourself,
is one out of 100 or 1,000.
Yeah. But there, you're not even asking for yourself, right? You're asking for the yeshiva, and still, it's a humbling thing. You have to, So he's saying, so if there's either because physically I'm not capable or some outside thing, getting poor, not a misfortune, have to raise money, fire burned down everything you own, then you got to rebuild. And you didn't need to until now. So that's also humbling. Because of that, he has to humble himself to those people who and his spirit is broken from the arrogancy that he in his situation. He said, he told him that from now on, those who are left from your family, from your household, will come and bow down to him for a loaf of bread. That's humbling. Until now, Elia Cohen and his sons, they were in power. When he calls him Chaveri, right? But another who's in a better situation, not that you had something bad happen to you, but someone who's in a better situation than you does the chesed with you. So that also causes you. I mean, again, we're talking, I guess, with a person with basic midos. If someone does a favor for you and he helps you out, you should humble yourself to that person. Many turn to the nodiv, and I guess anyone who's horea is lacking to the one who could give. So you have to turn to them, or you're getting from someone else. It's also humble. You owe someone money, and you're not capable of paying it back. And because of that, you humble yourself to that person, so that your friend should not collect his debt from your house, or take your house, or take your car. If you don't have the ability to pay, I mean, it's written as a question. Maybe it's a rhetorical question. Why should he take your bed from you? So that's also a humbling situation. That you humble yourself so that the guy should, I guess, have patience. If you don't humble yourself and you're like, who do you think you are? So then he's not going to have any second thoughts about sending the debt collector in. Like, if you're not, but if you humble yourself and you're sorry, and so then that's a reason for him not to go after you. You're a captive. And that, because of that, you're machni yourself. You're bent over, you're bent. Inu bakevel ragloi barzo bo nafshay. Inu bakevel ragloi, they chained his legs. Vaydekach barzo bo nafshay. Meshu shi hamagishes tzara guf. The nefesh feels the pain of the guf. So that's why it says the barzo, the metal, bo nafshay. I saw an interesting medrash on this. It says that Ashes Potiphar put a sword under Yosef, under his neck, so he would have to look up and look at her. On the bars of Bo and Nafshay. Okay, so when you're a captive, V'nema v'im asurim bazikim v'goyma v'yigel oznan lamusa v'yarma ki yeshuvon me'ov. You're a slave. And you can't free yourself. You have no way of freeing yourself. So you humble yourself to your master. Right? That's a relationship. Okay, so those are what he says. Oh, there's one more. He has misfortunes, bad things, Taurus happened to him, that causes a person to be broken. His spirit is broken. Person loses family members, things like that. He's a broken person. So those first 7 things are things that come, they're not in your control. Person starts thinking. That you rebelled against Hashem. Based, you're not sleeping here, right? You rebelled, that you realize how your actions are a rebellion against HaKadosh Baruch Hu because of all the good that he did to you. Shubat, and you're a kofri toiv alayim b'makom shabech Hashem alayim. In place of thanking and praising Hashem, you're a kofri toiv, and you did what you wanted.
Yeah, leave alone.
And because of that, when you make that cheshbon hanefesh, you humble yourself. You realize that you were wrong, and you're mispayish, and you're nichlam. I'm embarrassed to look at you, to raise my face. Our averos are above our heads. So that when a person does some retrospection, is that the word? And realizes how he acted wrong. So it's a humbling thing, and that you do on your own. So again, what is this? Sends you Yisurim, and you get the message, I guess. You're yourself, and you're afraid of punishment. So this is, I guess, different, number 9 from number 7. Number 7 is that you had sorrows, you had Yisurim, and they broke you. It's not in your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu so much. It's just you're a suffering person. You have Taurus. That's not something you did. It's not something in number 9, it sounds like HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Mochiach Umachlem, and because of that, you're Machne Se'atzma. Here you're doing it's your act. And Mefachem Ne'onshei. So that's again, I'm just going with what the Marpel and Nefesh said, that the last 3 are things that we choose to do. I realize I did wrong, and I humble myself. I know I deserve punishment. Person wakes up and sees that his day of death is coming closer. He starts thinking about the fear of death, and the fear of the din and cheshbon you have to give afterwards. And because of that, he humbles himself, and he stops thinking that he's so special. It becomes bossy, realizes how much he's not doing. And he regrets how his days passed, how he wasted his time without preparing for himself what he needs. The trip that's in front of him. Right? Yom HaMisa, right? It says in Brachas, nothing else works. Remember the Yom HaMisa. Yom HaMisa, and you start thinking, make yourself a cheshbon hanefesh. You wasted your time and you didn't prepare yourself. Also, it puts you down a rung in the ladder. So those are the 10 things that cause a person to be machnia. And in Perek Revi, Paragravi avo ala she'ela be'ez mokem chayvad nisnag bachnos, which is where am I obligated to act with humbleness? Hine oina. My response is ki odom chayv nisnag bachno b'shiva makomis. In 7 situations, you're obligated to have hachno. Mokem echad hu kshuba b'magim anoshim snagitam yof. In your relationships with other people. As I'll explain, he says in Perek Vav on the bottom, he says, okay, on such a person, it says, the Radak says on this on the bottom, even though he acts properly with other people, but it doesn't bring him to be arrogant. So look how good I am. He views himself as being nothing. Because he feels he isn't fulfilling what he really should have done with Kvod Hashem. That's how the Radak explains this pasuk. But like what I'm understanding here is that first place that you meant to use hachna is in your relationships with other people. You shouldn't look down at people. You should look up at them. And with that, people look down at you. You don't enjoy being with them. The relationship isn't too good. So it's a better relationship when you look up at people and give them the cover that's coming to them. And you don't feel that, you don't give the vibes that you feel you're so much better. And that's place number one. Hamokam Hasheni, you're together with Talmidei Chachamim, Vim Chassidim HaKreivim Elokim. When Shenemar, Yehomeni Tzadik Chesed B'Yochicheni V'Nemas Shachu Reim Roim L'Fnei Tovim. So here's not a real relationship with a person, but when you are with Talmidei Chachamim and Oivdei Hashem, it's the place where you should act with humbleness also. Hamokam Hashlishi Hu K'Shemashapim Esam Yitosav HaTorah is when people praise you. When people praise you for your good midos. So the person there is obligated to humble himself and reflect back on his faults, his averas that he did in the past. Because Baruch Hu knows the haLevavos the Adam and hid them from other people so nobody else knows. The Herachloi, as Alpay and Hashem gave him time. Right? Rachamim, so you don't get punished right away. People are praising him and thinking he's so great. That would be a reason to be arrogant. So he says that here's a place to use to be humble yourself. And you humble yourself, he says, by being honest with yourself. It's nice what they're saying, but I know really how good my learning is. I know how good my davening is. I know how good my midos really are, right? And how much Hashem has been good for me, and I owe it to Him. But Elias Abra, and he shouldn't rejoice in this, that people make this mistake and they think he's a tzaddik. Rather, he should be mournful that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows the truth. And you should have pain that you're not paying Hashem, you're not fulfilling the obligation to Hashem. Oops. I went to the top. And repaying Hashem for the good He did to you. And that'll bring him to be humble and not to let what the praise that people are saying go through his head. I'll speak about my avarice. I'll worry about my sins. Not, people are praising you instead of it being a cause for you to become arrogant. You reflect back on what you know about yourself that they don't know, and how much you owe HaKadosh Baruch Hu for what he did, and you're not paying him back. And that's also something that will bring you. That's a place. That's a place where you should, where Hachna is proper. All right, let's stop here.
Yeah.